Hello and welcome. Today we're going to take a look at the shadowy side of Hyrule, none other than the Shadow Temple itself. Along with looking at the themes and atmosphere of the temple, we will look at its surrounding environment and interject a little creative storytelling to weave together a truly grim tale. A world devoid of form was then blessed by three goddesses, Din, Nehru, and Furor. The land of Hyrule and the surrounding territories were created. Many forms inhabit this world, the Gerudo in the west, to the Zoras in the east. Deserts, mountains, lakes, and forests come together to form the kingdom of Hyrule. Each territory formed their tribes and founded their leaders. Some are guided by a wise spirit, some are led by tradition. But there is one that united them all, the King of Hyrule and the royal family. Powerful and rich are the royal family. The guarded castle grounds, with luxurious gardens and a fully populated market, Hyrule has become the dominant force of the world. Though each territory are united, there are still remnants of division. We can only imagine what it was like during the civil strife. War and violence led men down dark and bloody paths, and Hyrule was no different. On its surface, Hyrule radiates a clean and imperial power, but underneath lies the shadowy secret of Hyrule. To the east of Hyrule Castle lies the sleepy village of Kakariko, a village once inhabited by the Sheikah. It's now open to the rest of the public. Hyrule soldiers still man the area to keep the peace, while the path to Death Mountain and the Gorons can only be accessed by those with special decree from the King of Hyrule. Near the center of the village lies a well, a seemingly innocuous landmark, but not everything is what it seems, as we will come to learn. Towering above the village is the windmill, used to draw water up from the depth of the well. Kakariko is rebuilding itself and fostering a new community of hard-working people, though it's not without its own secrets. Kakariko's past is murky to say the least, but its connection to the royal family is undoubtedly apparent. Set further into the village is the graveyard. Here you can find a dedication to those who swore fealty to the royal family, perhaps young men enlisting in the army only to succumb to the treachery of war. Taking a peek into one of the graves reveals the shield from one of the many soldiers of Hyrule. At the back of the graveyard, the royal family's tomb can be found. The tomb is flanked on either side by the graves of the royal composer brothers. Here you can commune with the spirits and learn some of the royal family's secrets. The composers were tasked with investigating the mysterious powers of the royal family, but what the royal family hoped to accomplish with this, I cannot say for certain, only that the brothers laid down their lives to protect their studies. It seems the royal family fosters extreme loyalty, or perhaps enforces it. Sometime before the war, Kakariko was inhabited by the Sheikah, Impa being their leader. When we visit the village, the Sheikah have all disappeared, but they have left their mark all around Hyrule. As servants of the royal family, over the years they must have acquired many secrets and rumors, or shall we say certain truths about various subjects throughout Hyrule. We can divine these secrets from the gossip stones using the Mask of Truth. Not only did they craft such objects, there is even a tale of a man that could see the world for what it is, a special lens that allowed the user to see secrets and reveal the true world before his eyes. One might even regret the horror that the truth may reveal. The Sheikah are said to be the guardians of the royal family. Impa is even Princess Zelda's caretaker. They also have a deep connection to the royal family. Perhaps while the soldiers fought on the battlefield, the Sheikah had alternate methods of defeating their enemy. Our only visible example of a Sheikah is Impa. Seen after meeting Princess Zelda, she dons armor and wields what appears to be a tanto, or perhaps a wakizashi. Her outfit is functional and light, great for a more specialized type of soldier. Here we learn Zelda's Lullaby, a song taught by Impa to prove our connection to the royal family. This seemingly innocent song to play for a child might have a more sinister meaning in its origins. There is a rumor known by few that there was a man in Kakariko, most likely Sheikah, who had great knowledge and an excellent craftsman. He was able to craft a lens imbued with ancient magic. It will reveal to the one who possesses it the truth, a truth that is hidden in darkness, steeped in shadow. It is said that he lived where the well now stands. Deep in the bottom of the well, we see our first hints of the dark and terrible underworld of Hyrule. Here we find hidden pits, skeletal monsters, and graves of unknown origin. This is also our first glimpse at this bird-like statue. I can't say for certain what this is. It seems to portray some winged creature with horns and a beak. Perhaps it is an ancient deity to the Sheikah, or even a symbol of theirs. In the central room, there appears to be a cross that may have been used for torture, next to steel bars used to imprison anyone unfortunate enough to meet this fate. There are also depictions of a ghoulish face with what could be seen as severed hands holding the disembodied head. They speak to us, tell us secrets. What sort of dark magic are they imbued with to allow such communication? Down below, at the deepest depths of the well, reside the living dead, surrounded by poisonous liquid due to the putrefaction of the disposed bodies thrown down one of the many chutes that lead to this pit. What sort of dark experiments or forms of worship were being held at the bottom of the well? Dark idols loom in the shadows and watch over the disturbing connection to the royal family. The so-called lullaby of the royal family is perhaps a sinister tune that was shared amongst those who engaged in such cruel acts. Before we leave, our search for the lens of truth leads us to one particular chamber in the bottom of the well. As we enter, we are assaulted by this nightmarish creature, Dead Hand, a reanimated abomination from the blood and flesh of cruel experiments. It guards the treasured relic of the shadow folk, the lens of truth. Beyond the Kakariko graveyard lay the hidden entrance to the Shadow Temple, a monument built with the blood and bones of Hyrule's evil dead. The temple was a labyrinth of illusions and puzzles, each designed to add another resident to its already overflowing crypts. Only those who could swallow their fear survived. Yet there is another place which houses other dark and unholy relics. Located at the back of the graveyard, behind the royal family's tomb, lies the Shadow Temple, a temple dedicated to death and shadows, the underbelly of Hyrule, used as a place of worship by the Sheikah and used for more devious means. A short descent leads us to the entrance to the Shadow Temple, yet it is sealed with the iconic symbol of the Sheikah and surrounded by torches. It seems there could have been a ritual here, or perhaps even a sacrifice, the cost of entry to the sacred Temple of Shadows. Once inside, we see many parallels to the bottom of the well at first. We even see the statues of the strange creatures and the portraits of the ghoulish visage once again. Another trial must be passed before entrance to the temple proper is granted. One with sacred feet may only enter. They may pass over the Valley of the Dead. We can find the hover boots in the back of the temple entrance, guarded by none other than Dead Hand. This unholy monster once again protects the secret tools of the Sheikah, like the lens of truth or the hover boots. Inscriptions on the walls of the necropolis tell us of a darker side of history. A history of blood, greed, and hatred. There are traps and decoys to fool or ensnare those who dare to venture into the temple ill-equipped. The tools of the trade are, of course, the hookshot, a spring-loaded chain with a hooked end, It could be used to cross gaps and reach items, but could it not also be used to hook into the soft flesh of those Hyrule deemed unworthy and drag them along for more advanced questioning? There is also, of course, the hover boots, so-called sacred feet. It will allow one to cross bodies of water, or perhaps a different kind of liquid of a more sanguine nature. Lastly, the powerful lens of truth, to see into the darkness, allowing the Sheikah to navigate effortlessly throughout the Shadow Temple, while those imprisoned there suffer in the unending blackness of the malicious environment. Throughout the temple, there are draconic devices for the purposes of Hyrule's bloody intentions. Amongst the deadly devices, there are massive guillotines to swiftly deal with those who oppose. There are large statues of death itself, wielding razor-sharp scythes to disembowel its victims, and there are even deadly spikes, invisible to the naked eye, so that the Sheikah may watch their prisoners toil and suffer until they go mad or succumb to their wounds. Further into the temple, we find a grand and terrifying fairy, a monument to the damned, adorned with yet again the strange creature of the Sheikah. Upon further inspection, the royal crest is plainly seen. Once the souls of the damned have been shackled and dragged, and for what we can only imagine is the promise of pain, they are then ferried to the isolation chambers on a ship that rides the seas of shadows and death. There is but one ruling force to awaken the fairy, a secret melody synonymous with the royal family itself. It is known to us as Zelda's Lullaby, a tune that is played for the royal children. A seemingly light and soothing tone is really the siren of death. It heralds the final destination to those unfortunate enough to survive Hyrule's Inquisition. All of this blood and hatred was held deep in the darkness and past of Hyrule, until one day it was unleashed. Due to the reign of Ganondorf, darkness and shadow ruled, and what once was a deep, dark secret came into the light. At the end of the Shadow Temple, at its deepest depths, we find Bongo Bongo, shadow made manifest, or perhaps the manifestation of all the pain, torture, and suffering of those who fell prey to Hyrule's hatred. Severed hands, decapitated. A sonorous cry is heard as Bongo Bongo beats its drum. Was this the sound of the demise that so many heard before their untimely death? Or could it be the remnants of the culture that may have been decimated by Hyrule in its brutal warpath? After our battle, we vanquished the evil embodied spirit and awakened Impa as a sage. Have the sins of Hyrule's past been forgiven, or is this the beginning on a path of healing? Or are the dark secrets of Hyrule forever entombed in the Shadow Temple? Whatever may be the answers or the truth of the matter, it is beyond us knowing for certain. Even with the magical lens to pierce the veil of darkness, the real history of Hyrule is forever obscure to us. What we do know is that everything isn't always as it appears. History is full of secrets, and blood is shed by all during war. Thank you for watching, and a special shout out to my members. If you become a member, you get exclusive emojis. Woo! Oh yeah, I guess subscribe.